give a warm scale-down welcome to Mr. Graham Bendel.
Hello. Thank you very much, very kind. I'm going to read some bits and pieces, and thank you for inviting me down to the 137th Scaledown. Very honoured. This is called Meeting Harold Pinter, and the clue is in the title. It's about meeting Harold Pinter. I stood next to Harold Pinter on the tube. Jesus, it's Harold Pinter, I said to myself in an urgent interior monologue. I should speak, I thought, so I did. Mr. Pinter, I'm such an admirer of your work, and I respect your stance on Iraq and how you're battling such a serious illness and all. There was an awkward pause, a long pause that became more awkward as time moved on. And how time moved on, the seconds became pregnant with their own self-importance and gave birth to what felt like a whole minute. The silence provoked me to speak again. I love the birthday party and the screenplay for the French lieutenants. Please, would you shut up and fuck well off, he said. This is my stop. Well, this was embarrassing. Although, on the other hand, I suppose that the menace, the underlying violence that Pinter was renowned for, had been delivered direct to my own doorstep. I had joined the comfortable middle classes, Cancer, Bush, Blair. I'd been a transient muse for Harold Pinter, and it had been an honour. At least I think it was him. Thank you. Okay, let's take this up a notch. Let's get the party started here, right, okay? This is a poem about clinical depression. It's called The Marquis Decide. I am depressed. I do not notice the change in weather or the taste of my food. I smile weakly at cats, who incidentally do not smile back at me. I am the Marquis Decide. My therapist has recommended that I do something out of character, like go and see Chicago the musical, but I'm not that depressed. The glass is definitely half empty, and furthermore, I have just noticed that there's a fly swimming in what is left of my lukewarm lot. I am the Marquis Decide, and I torture myself endlessly. There is no point. The pencil end of my progress is blunt and unworkable. In small steps, I go round unmerrily in a circle. I am the Marquis Decide. I am the insipid voice of Theresa May. I am Peter Andre's stamp collection. I am Nick Clegg drinking alone in a pub. I am Chukwuramuna's record collection. I am the Marquis Decide. Thank you. You know, the Daily Mail is always going on about things like benefit scroungers, immigrants, single mothers, Russia. Lately, I've noticed they've been going on about something a bit unusual, homosexual goths. So that kind of inspired me to write a poem about that. Homosexual goths. Homosexual goths refuse to come out of the closet. Not because they are embarrassed or ashamed of what they are, but because it is dark and creepy in there, and they like it. The end. Thank you. Talking of goths, Mark, wherever it is, you asked if anyone had been to see Bauhaus tonight.
Yeah.
Who's been to see Bauhaus? I saw their last ever gig at the Hammersmith Hall. I was only about 13. Don't know how I got in there, but my dad had to pick me up. And,
Were they good? Were they good?
Fucking brilliant. They did an encore of about 7 songs. So I'm going to do an a cappella version of Bela Lugosi's Dead. No, I'm not going to do it. Right, hang on. What am I going to do? Right. Oh, I know. This is about love. It's called Ode to Roberta Flack. The third time ever I saw your face was marginally more exciting than the second time ever I saw your face, and definitely less memorable than the first. Arguably, the fourth time ever I saw your face was so cursorily and forgettable to the point that I wondered even if it was your face or someone else's. Was it yours? I don't know. The fifth time ever I saw your face, I became fascinated by a nose hair and wanted violently to pull it out. The sixth time, there was no sixth time on account of my earlier staring at your face in an apparently creepy manner without even blinking. The seventh time I saw your face, you shouted out of a window and asked what the hell I was doing in your garden. There definitely wasn't an eighth time due to the restraining order. The sad truth of all this is I will never know your heartbeat close to mine. I will never know a joy that lasts until the end of time. And the only feeling of the earth moving through my hands will be due to my job as a day gardener, but not your gardener, Signed Mellors. Thank you.
A little bit of an ooh there, maybe? That ooh territory? Ooh? Anyone for an ooh? Ooh.
Okay, and thank you for the oohs. This is called Narcissistic Poem. I'd like to be like Stephen Polyakov or Stanley Kubrick, but I fear that I will end up in 20 years just looking like them without having acquired an iota of their talent. When I was 16, I thought I was so ugly that I could never get a girlfriend, and I would be reliant on prostitutes for the rest of my life. I remember once crying, and I looked in the mirror, and I saw green-blue iridescent eyes through the tears, and thought I was so beautiful in the reflection. Why couldn't I get any girls like this? Years later, someone said they thought I'd look like someone else. Jim Morrison, I thought they said. No, Jim from Morrison's. The supermarket on the Holloway Road. Jim works on the delicatessen counter. Thank you. You know what the embarrassing thing about that poem is, apart from all of it, is like in poetry circles, you're not actually allowed to say iridescent. And it's like a big crime. And I mean, I don't even know what it means anyway. But right. So I don't know how much time I've got left. Right. Oh, I know what. Hang on. Bear with me a second. I'm a little bit disorganised, which translates as a bit pissed. Because I've got quite a lot of time on my hands because I quit my job in the NHS. I was wondering, sometimes I wonder like what the Bridget Jones Diary would have been like if William Burroughs had written it. And I know that I probably should get out a bit more, but okay. 7:30 a.m. Mark Darcy has not woken up. I know, I'll make him a fantastic fried breakfast of eggs Benedict or eggs Florentine. 7:31 a.m. Not sure what eggs Benedict or Florentine actually are, stupid me. 7:31 a.m. Darcy awakes and actually says, "Jones, you creepy woman, are you staring at me while I'm asleep?" I tell the hunky Darcy that I want to make him a scrummy breakfast and want to know what he'd like ideally. He says, "Surprise me," and goes back to sleep. It stops me dead in my tracks and I'm hurt at his cruel indifference. Oh yes, I'll surprise him, show him indifference right back. I'll show him Bridget Jones with flaws unhidden. Darcy, have this sordid sight for your breakfast. 7:45 a.m. I get out the old kit and trembling, I hit a vein right away. A column of blood shoots up into the syringe for an instant, sharp and solid as a red cord. I press the plunger down with my thumb, feeling the junk pound through my veins to feed a million junk-hungry cells to bring strength and alertness to every nerve and muscle. 7:47 a.m. Nodding off, I stare through slitted eyes. I see him, all broad shoulders and yummy hairy chest. Darcy, the cruel monster, has awoken, and he says, nonchalant, as if he was opening a window to look out onto the street, "Jones, I always suspected you were a junkie. Not sure what to do next. Right. Let me have a look. Oh, yeah, okay. This is called My Only Friend. It's sad, but a fact. My only real friend spends most of his time on the floor, belongs to my ex-girlfriend, and spares not a thought for anybody but himself. He moans and purrs when he is hungry, and sometimes, craning his furry head forward, licks his own balls. I suppose you think I'm talking about a cat. I'm referring to my ex's brother, who had a penchant for taking huge amounts of LSD. Thank you. And I think we'll probably leave it there. So probably a good note to end on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome, Sean. Fantastic. Graham Bendel. Graham Bendel. Good God.